been out picking blackberries. This very well might be the last blackberries I get to pick this year because it's mid-September. So I'm going to make something that really makes good use of these berries. So I've got digested biscuits, and I'm going to take about probably 1/3 of that pack, so about 150 grams probably. So I'm just going to bash those up with the end of a rolling pin. That doesn't look like enough. Okay, so we're going to put a few more in. So that's actually half the packet, so that's 200 grams of digested biscuits. Next I've got 100 grams of butter. I'm just going to melt that very gently over a low heat. Meanwhile, I've got a tin with a lift out base in it. So I'm going to prepare that by just dropping in a circle of reusable non-stick liner. You could just use a circle of greaseproof paper there. So the butter's completely melted now, and I'm just going to put that in with the crushed biscuits. And mix it together. And it should be just enough to make it into a crumbly, fairly moist mix. Like that. Just make sure it's thoroughly mixed. Okay. Now I'm just going to tip that into the bottom of my tin, and I'm just going to press it down into place with the back of my hand. Try and even it out across the whole of the bottom of the tin, and press it down to exclude any little air gaps or cracks. It doesn't have to be particularly beautiful because it's going to be covered up by a filling, but it's probably just as well to try and make it as even as we can, and especially around the edge. Okay, so that's all pressed down into place. I'm going to put that on a plate and put it in the fridge now. It needs to stay in the fridge for a couple of hours really to set solid. So I've got 800 grams of blackberries here in a pan. I'm adding to that the juice of 2 lemons, and that's all. There's no water in there. I haven't added any sugar yet either. And I'm just going to put that over a medium heat and let that cook down so that all the juices are released. Okay, after just 5 minutes you can see all that juice that's starting to come out. I haven't added any liquid apart from the lemon juice here, so this is all fruit juice coming out now into the pan. I'm not going to boil this for too long. I just want the juice to come out. I don't want to actually stew the fruit and lose too much of the fresh blackberry flavour. So that's about 7 or 8 minutes they've had cooking, and the fruit's now actually quite soft and lots of juice has come out, which is great. So I'm going to take that off the heat now and we'll sieve it. So over here I've got a very large bowl and a sieve. I'm just going to carefully pour my blackberry mixture in there. Probably should have worn an apron for this. This stuff stains like crazy. So being careful not to drop the seeds around the outside, I'm now just going to force that through the sieve. So as well as the blackberry juice that's coming through, I'm getting some of the fruit pulp as well. So I'm not making a clear liquid here. I'm actually just looking to get as much of the fruit as I can, but none of the seeds. So as you can see, it's this beautiful wine red liquid coming through. And it's worth taking your time with this because it will take a little while to force the pulp through such a fine mesh. We don't want to waste any of this. I had to go and get my fingers prickled and my legs stung by stinging nettles to get these blackberries, so I need to make this worth my while. Okay, if you've got the right kind of mouli type of mill, you can probably sieve that with sieve this mixture with one of those, but I've never really found one that works very well for blackberries. They either tend to break the seeds up and then they get through the holes, or they just clog up and you don't get anything out. So I always just use this sieve on the back of a big spoon. reckon that's about it now. So I've got about 550 ml of lovely fruit juice here. So we're going to put that back into the pan. I've just rinsed the pan. I didn't bother cleaning it thoroughly. I've just rinsed it to get rid of any seeds that were there. All that juice goes back into the pan. I don't want to waste any of it at all, so I'm just going to use a rubber spatula to get the last bits out of the jug. We don't obviously want it to be as sour as blackberries and lemons without any sugar, but also I don't want to take off all of the sourness. I want some of that acidity to come through, so you have to kind of use your judgment and discretion here. So I'm going to start off with, let's say, 5 tablespoons of sugar in there. Okay, and we'll give that a mix round and taste it. Make sure the sugar's dissolved before I taste it. Right, that must have dissolved by now, so let's give that a little taste. Tiny bit more. I reckon probably just one more tablespoon of sugar. So that's 6 tablespoons of sugar in that 550 ml blackberry juice, and I think that's going to be plenty. Yep, that's good. We are going to have to thicken that juice, so I've got here about 3 or 4 tablespoons of cornstarch. Just going to add a bit of water here and mix it up into a liquid. And I'm sure you'll know that this is an interesting liquid. It's called a non-Newtonian fluid, because when you bash it, it hardens, but if you touch it, if you poke it gently, it's just a liquid. It's a strange stuff. Anyway, that's a story for another day. We're actually going to use this in our recipe. So I've got my juice here in the pan. I'm just going to turn the heat back on. Bring that to the simmer. Okay, now it's just coming to a simmer now, and so we have to be a bit careful. So I'm going to turn the heat down. I'm probably not going to use all of this cornstarch mixture. What I'm going to do here is, whisking really fast, pour some of it in, and you'll see almost immediately it will thicken. So yeah, I've used about probably 2/3, 3/4 of my cornstarch mixture. It's thickened quite suddenly, a bit like custard. I'm going to continue heating because at the moment it has a slightly cloudy, milky appearance. So I just continue heating now. It's nice and thick. And I continue heating and it goes dark again. That's it. So it's gone back to a sort of dark purple colour. It's actually quite difficult to whisk now because it's pretty stiff, but that's good. Okay, that's it. Now stop. I'm just going to take that off the heat, set aside, and leave that to cool for half an hour before I do anything else. So I've got my biscuit base back from the fridge. It's now set completely solid. It's been about half an hour since we cooked the blackberries, so this stuff's still hot, but it's not boiling hot. The reason I gave it a bit of time to cool is what I don't want to do is pour boiling hot liquid onto the the base, because it will just melt it. So there we go. I'm just going to tip that onto there. That's the blackberry jelly mixture. There we go. Okay. Okay. And then that just needs to go in the fridge, kept level to set. And the cornstarch that's in there will set that topping into like a jelly texture. Right, so this has been in the fridge for about 4 hours now. As you can see, it's set and it's like a jelly. So we're going to turn it out. And what I do for that, I just take a pint glass and push the... Actually, what I'll do, I'll just run a knife around it first, I think. Just going to run a knife around the inside of the dish. And then I put it on a pint glass and just push down on the edge. And there we go, look at that. And that's my blackberry jelly tart. So this tart will serve about, well, it'll serve 8 pieces, but I usually make it for 4 people because actually nearly every time people come back for a second slice. I'm just going to take a little wedge now and we'll see what it's like. I'm going to cut a very small wedge there. Take that out. Okay, as you can see, it's this really lovely, soft, wobbly jelly. I'm just going to take a bite there. Oh gosh. The flavour and the subtle acidity of the blackberries comes right through. It's really fantastic. And because this jelly is set with cornstarch instead of gelatin, it has a really fantastic silky sort of luscious texture. Delicious. Normally I'd serve this with a bit of creme fraiche or double cream, maybe ice cream, but actually it's just fantastic on its own. Really good.